for a tint job like that. We just did a expedition the other day and it was like $1,300. And, you know, I didn't think that was even possible. I was thinking I had to do 3 cars a day, which is possible in order to get $1,500 in tint jobs. But then I like started really thinking about it and I was like,
what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Born to Tint podcast. I'm Ricky. Glad to be here with my big brother, Josh.
What's going on, everyone? Today, we had a really fun conversation with Dante with Dante's Customs. Check it out. Shout out Tint Wiz.
yeah, literally.
Yeah, Eric, as much as he likes, you guys are, no, Eric is amazing. He's invested heavily in this, which we appreciate. And never asked for anything past that. He just wants to invest. And not naturally, how we reciprocate with that, like, as you can see on all of my company shirts, Tint Wiz is on everything. I mean, on these shirts, like, you didn't even, like, I stopped asking.
Yeah.
I stopped asking him. I just put it on now. Because every time I've asked him, he's like, of course. So now it's anytime I rebrand anything, Tint Wiz just goes on it. I mean.
Yeah, literally same thing with us too. We're just like, how could we, help you guys as much as you guys helped us out? That's
why Eric is so smart and he's amazing, is the fact that, like, just give without expecting anything in return, and then you will reap the benefits of it. Yeah. And he 100% does, which is great. He's created a great network and a great culture within our industry. There's still the outliers out there. But like beforehand, our industry was extremely cutthroat. Like early 2000s, like you couldn't talk about carrying multiple films. You could not be a panorama dealer and a 3M dealer at the same time. It was pick. As soon as you picked one, the other one was going to drop you. I carry 3 now. I have Prestige.
Is that just because of the relationship you guys have with them, or is it like if I try to do the same thing, would you say I could expect the same result?
You have to grow. The one thing I realized is that numbers talk. So as we've grown in size,
I don't care as long as you're purchasing film,
and as long as you don't do them dirty. Like if they feed you a lead, that lead needs to stay with that manufacturer. So
I've heard that like with bigger companies that get film spec'd out for certain jobs and stuff, will the actual like Expel reach out to you, or is it?
It depends. Sometimes we'll get leads directly from SolarGuard or 3M. But most of the time, commercial projects are spec'd in. Like the contractor contacts you and like, hey, this is the film that it has on there, because they're going to the architects.
Yeah. So SolarGuard is now. They've joined the race for a while now, where they're working with the architects to give them the specs they need in the books, to where when they actually draw up a plan, the person just goes, oh, well, here you go. And yep, you know what? You got to use SolarGuard, Panorama, Slate, whatever film it is, to where now they just made it to where only those dealers can get those jobs. They can get access to that film. 3M has been doing it for a very long time, especially because their film hits certain specs that other people's don't. Like their safety film hits at 9 PSI on their Ultra 800, their 8mm for blast mitigation. That's huge. It's the majority of the government jobs are like, that's what you have to hit. And they have the only film at 8mm that can do that. Now, SolarGuard does have a product. It's 14mm. But if I have to choose between installing a 14 or an 8, I'm going to save some money on product, but then I'm going to like double my labor cost. I'm going to go in with a 3M product.
Yeah.
So they spec those in. Now with like 3M, you have to be at a certain purchasing power for them to actually feed you big leads. Otherwise, they don't give them to you. And then they've just rolled out a new program to where if you are going to be technically brand loyal and only sell 3M, you get even more added benefits with rebates on growth rebates and overall rebates.
They do contact 3M directly, like, yo, we need a...
No, the 3M, so 3M goes, you have 3M, then you have the distributors. What'll end up happening is I have a relationship with my 3M person, and I have a relationship with my distributor rep. When big jobs like that happen, most of the time that'll come down from 3M if it's a big enough project. Yeah. But a lot of those jobs that are out there, there are programs like Contractor Connect, I think is one. There's a couple other portals that you can pretty much subscription purchase like $3,000 a year, and then you have access to where all the jobs are being submitted, or access to where contractors are also part of that network, where they will put their job on that list, and it's pretty much like, if you have something in this list that you can help us solve, send us a bid. And then they go through their bids and they pick. That's why like bidding commercial is so much different, especially big commercial is so much different than high-end residential. If you go into one of those bids with the high-end residential pricing, you're never winning one. It's just not going to happen.
So it's just like whoever is it generally whoever's the most inexpensive price that they see?
Usually.
Because the profit's bigger for the contractor.
Exactly.
Sometimes, but sometimes the contractor, if you have a relationship with them, they don't mind if the price is high because they're
That's
adding a
also
percentage on there.
Yeah.
So you got a
these
good
are
relationship with them and your price is a little higher than the other bids.
Yeah.
It just can't be out of what their range is, as long as it's close in their range, because what they'll look at is, hey, right, this guy costs 10% more than this guy, but I've done business with this guy. I know they're going to show up. They're going to get the job done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a punch list with it. It's going to save me time. I'm willing to spend that much more money because I know I'm not going to have a headache. If it's absurdly higher, that's where it starts cutting into their budget because they have a budget just like we have a budget.
Yep.
And there's more decision makers too. So you got the contractor that might be totally okay with it, but then the actual like
Higher ups
owner,
and
yeah,
stuff.
of
Yeah.
the what's being built.
So when you guys submit a bid, right, and then so obviously there's timelines on these things that to get approved. What is generally like a timeline looking like for like a commercial job? Sometimes
It's all over the place. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes it's 2 years.
It's
Really? So
Yeah.
do you guys just follow up? Is that
Yep.
is that's mainly what you guys do? Just call them, yo, what's up? Like, would you guys, and then you guys address like how much it costs and the price, or like, is there like a wait, or you guys are just trying to figure out what they're waiting on as far as?
Hey, do you guys need anything from us? Hey, I just want to see kind of where this is at. You know, with this amount of film, especially if it's a large project, you have to, and you set that expectation to begin with, and you give the bid, is you let them know like with with this much of this product, I do need I need an advance so I can let the manufacturer know so they can ramp up and scale production. 3M is notorious for that. Like if you have a big project, which is a good thing, and any of the manufacturers, you should do it. If you have like 10, 20,000 square feet of something, you should be talking with your manufacturer and coordinating the dates so they know how to produce their film because they are projecting what they should be producing depending on how their sales have gone. So that's why you have, unfortunately, like 3M, where you will hit like a month or a month and a half of a period where you don't have a film because it's on back order.
Oh, snap.
Ultra Night Vision 25 has been on back order on and off since 2020.
And what does that film like achieve? I mean, I'm not really too familiar with like
8 mil dual reflective film. It's one of the few on the market and it's a beautiful looking film.
And it's not super dark.
It's not super dark. You're going to get some privacy. And it also has, because it's an ultra, it has that tensile strength of a 14 mil. So it's a super high performing film.
Okay.
So majority of Texas is covered in that. Like right now, I just sold a roll of TrueView 15 8 mil, which is Solar Guard's dual reflective that they just put on the market. They had to pull it because they had some bad batches and they couldn't figure out why.
Yeah.
So they pull everything down. They make sure they find the answer before they put it back into production, which I think is going into production, I think by the end of this year, which will be nice to have another option again. But having that dual reflective, that 9 PSI, that's what got specced into majority of all the Texas schools. So like night vision hasn't been on the shelf because it's being sold. Like as soon as it hits, like 12 boxes are going straight out the door.
So would you say the schools are pretty heavy on like security film?
It depends on which state you're in. Most states, there are grants out there, and it's about how you want to get your foot in the door. So like Kyle Fuller is really good at this. His system, at least for Georgia and like actually the surrounding states. The biggest in you want with a school is if you can become buddies with a principal of a school. And then, because they end up having conferences as principals as a school district. And like, you just need to find someone of that sort that is in that circle.
Got it.
Because as soon as you're in that circle, you can then have them submit the bids for you. And it's more likely like, hey, I know you have grant money.
Yeah.
This is all the paperwork that needs to be filled out. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my bid. Like pretty much you guys won't have to pay for this. You have to fill all this out and apply for it. As soon as you apply for it, then you have the funding and then it pays for the job. Like out here, we had, there was grants for the temples out here, the Jewish temples.
And the Catholic schools too.
No, I think St. Francis just went ahead and jumped into that tide.
So where do you guys, or I guess you could say, where do you guys find the places that have grants? Like, do you just ask, or is there like a
Google? You just got to do research.
Or AI now might be better.
That's pretty much Google.
Yeah.
Gemini.
Yeah, I don't even use Google anymore. I'm just on AI. I mean, they kind of know what I'm looking for already as far as who I am and what they know about me anyways. But yeah, no, that's what I was also thinking about. I was like, there's a lot of school districts where I live, and honestly, the flat glass market where I live is kind of untapped. And that's a good thing in a way, but it's also kind of not a good thing because they don't know how much things cost.
Yeah.
So when I propose prices, they're like, are you kidding me? Sometimes, you know, I haven't been getting that recently because I've been keeping the square footage price relatively reasonable, anywhere between like 12 and 16 usually.
What's your approval rate?
I would say it's about 60%.
Raise your price.
Yep.
But I don't have a huge influx on work either. So
that's fine. If you lose 20% of that work, but you move your price accordingly, you're still getting the same value, same dollar amount. You're just doing 20% less work. Because if labor is one of your bottlenecks.
Yeah, and I run ads with Chris when it comes to the flat glass and like commercial and residential, like out in LA. But I also do my own ads for my shop in Ridgecrest. So we do pretty well as far as like automotive, and then I obviously have I do detailing as well. So it does pretty well for us there. And then I'm on a very prominent location. Like my location is really good. But I started running flat recently, and with all the heat coming up, I noticed already an influx of like leads. I just got 2 while I was here for residential. So
for your area,
for my area, yeah.
So I would hyper focus on your area first before spanning out anywhere else.
So that's the thing is I feel like also when it comes to charging, like whenever we charge in LA, it's like we charge higher because obviously you have to travel, and then it's just a higher end clientele. Because if I really break down like my demographic, I mean, I have 28,000 people for a 60-mile radius. And our median income is like, it's not very high. I live off a military base. So it's like, you're either like I got higher middle class to middle class, to, you know, much lower income, you know, people that are working at, you know, all the little shops and stuff in town. But it's a lot of business owners, welders and stuff like that. And, you know, obviously I kind of want to get my name out there too, as far as like residential, that it actually like works, which it's been, because I mean it's hot. So whenever I apply a film and they go and they're like, oh snap, like this actually does do something. So I'm trying to scale that front of things, and I don't want to, this is just my, like what I'm thinking in my head. Like I don't want to raise my prices to a point where they just got something done for $500, and you know they have similar windows at their buddy's house, and just they're like, yo, why is his 500 and mine's 800 now? So
cost of everything goes up. We still deal with the same thing. As when we did do our increase, like there was definitely some old clientele in there that we came across.
Pretty drastic that you guys increased your guys'. You guys said that you guys doubled. So, but you said you guys are still busy. So it sounds like you guys did something correctly.
We lost some people, but we gained some people.
Yeah.
And then even we still will, like if we have a customer that we've had for a long time and say something went bad, or they doing something, replacing something in their house,
adding on
to their house, we'll come in, we'll let them know, and we'll keep the price low and pretty much tell them like, hey, this is what's happened. And it's relatively easy right now because inflation across the board. You mentioned our price has gone up. Like, yeah, everything's more expensive, and it's like, and that's all I needed you to say. That's okay, knowing that like we're gonna cost more now. We just are.
That's the other thing that's really nice about using Tint Wiz when going out on those is like I'll look the customer up. I can see like, oh, we tinted their house.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed
either
too.
A year ago and right now it's not a problem because we've raised our prices a couple of years ago now, and they've only gone up a little bit since then. They haven't gone crazy because we kind of found that sweet spot.
Yeah.
So initially, I would look, and if we just did something for somebody like a year ago, and now our price is double from that, like in that transition period, I would definitely like
when it comes to quoting that job.
I would start with like, hey, like our prices have gone up. I'm gonna try to keep you as close to possible as to where we were, because you're a return customer. I'll give you an extra discount.
Yeah, they feel like they're getting.
But the vast majority of the time, like he said, everybody in the climate we're in right now, especially the last couple of years, everybody sees everything costing more. They expect it to cost more. So you hear that from a lot of people. Like, yeah, I know everything's more expensive.
So I just seen something like recently on like, because I do study on like what ads work and what don't, and I test lots of ads when it comes to like what converts the most. And one of the ones on besides like doing flat glass or residential commercial, right, is like automotive. A lot of people think that like when you post like a Lamborghini in your ad, you're going to get a bunch of clients, but it's like
Scare them away.
all I think is, I never really thought about it like that. Like they just think, oh, expensive, I'm not going to do that. You almost rather post a Camry that you tinted and your top of the line film, like, oh, that guy has a Camry, he got the top of the line film, so that's pretty regular. Not Lamborghini got the best of everything that we have at the shop. And I don't even think there might be one supercar where I live. Maybe.
Well, as I say, the market matters.
You have to have both. The majority of, yes, you want regular cars in there because that is going to appeal to majority of clientele, make that normalized. But then you also do want to sprinkle in the high-end vehicles. So when someone does have their high-end vehicle and they do see like, all right, you've touched a $300,000 car, I trust you.
Yeah, that's why I post the airplanes that we do, because it's like it's immediate credibility. Like, okay, if you can go do this airplane ceramic coating job, like it's a cakewalk for you to go do my Tundra, you know. So
I know that you started with detailing. Yeah. Now you're in the auto. Yep. Now you're getting the flat.
Yep.
Would you consider, if anything? Actually, I wouldn't say consider. I would. This is my 2 cents. Because when I hear Dante's detailing, I don't think residential tint at all. You need to open up a second name. You need another you need a DBA, a different name. Ridgecrest window tint if it doesn't already exist, and then use that to hyper focus in your area, and then all the content that comes from that is purely just houses, and then you just collab the accounts together.
So I have so my Facebook page is Dante's Window Film Division.
Okay.
So it's more window film based. So when it comes to like ads getting posted on my Facebook, which is honestly primarily is what I do ads for. I don't really do ads for detailing, just because I'm just known for that out there. So I get calls like, those aren't the ones that I want 1,000 leads for. And then just for money spent for ads and like what I'm getting and how much I can get for a detail, it's just like not super high anyways. Like my profit margins aren't super high on detail. It's more over to just keep my guys busy. Like when it starts to slow down or, you know, just filler work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, our higher ticket services, obviously our paint correction, our ceramic coatings, which we still do push. I do notice that window tinting, obviously, if you're efficient at it, you could make a lot more money hour for hour, which as a business, that's kind of how I look at things.
Yeah.
I'm like, how much can this one person in my business produce me over, you know, like versus like doing details all day. Like a guy doing detailing all day, I mean, if it's just details, not paint correction, ceramic coatings, they really can only produce me like $600 in a day. Maybe. I mean, I am in a desert climate, so a lot of the vehicles are pretty hammered when it comes to like doing interiors and stuff. If I was in a city climate, like there wouldn't be as much embedded dirt and ranch trucks and stuff like that. It's just where I live, you know. So, and I feel like, not that I feel like I can't charge more for detailing services, but it's like there's comes a certain point where when I charge $600 for an interior detail, they're like, $600? Are you kidding me? Like I really can only charge up to $300-$400 unless it's like crazy.
Smart.
But it still takes forever to do a good job, and our name's still on it. So I obviously want to keep that, you know, that reputation still good and with good standing. But within the window tinting market, I mean, I actually did do the conversion rate thing, and I was actually telling Chris recently that I've only been offering automotive window tint out of my shop. That was me. I had an installer that had his own business that worked in my shop. So we kind of were known for window tinting when it came to location, but he ended up moving to Arizona. So we kind of took over rapidly. And I kind of based my prices off of what he had it, which, you know, it was good to my knowledge, but I really didn't know the market. So I was like, okay. So I started charging, you know, for a sedan, I have 4 doors back glass. I was charging $400 for ceramic film. And I'm like, I just kept getting yes and yes and yes and yes. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to move it to 500 then to 600. And then now I moved it to 700 and I'm still getting yes and yes. And I'm like, okay, well, 700 was kind of a sweet spot because now I noticed that I'm charging more than everybody in town. You know, for a sedan, I'm talking about without windshield. With windshield, we're talking close to $1,000 or so. I mean, with sunroof, we're talking almost $1,200. And I feel like that's really good considering how much my film cost is, which isn't very high. I mean, I buy a ceramic roll of film now for like $500 and can charge $1,200 for, for a tint job like that. We just did a expedition the other day and it was like $1,300. And, I didn't think that was even possible. I was thinking I had to do 3 cars a day, which is possible in order to get $1,500 in tint jobs. But then I started really thinking about it and I was like, these people are paying, so why not raise it? And then I can take care of my, grow my shop, grow my businesses outside of this, which is why I started doing the flat glass, because it opened up a lot of time for me, because at the end of the day, time's money.
Yeah, no.
If I could do one automotive in the shop, make $1,000 and then have him come with me to go do residential commercial, now we're really scaling. So that's kind of what we've been doing. I'm just really trying to work on efficiency and also systems and operations. And a big thing that I did recently, I didn't fully implement it until about March, was fully implement Tint Wiz. It was super huge. Now that I was scaling and having all these clients, that it was always I just had it on my calendar, and I would put their name, their phone number, their service, and then the price. And it just kind of took a little bit longer, and it was just kind of what I was used to, just small scale stuff. And then whenever work came in the door, it was I had to call my installer, yo, we have this job in, he's coming in at this time. And it just kind of eliminated all of that, because now I added him to the app and he's able to look at the work he has and the scope of work, and I don't have to call him, which saves me time. And then also the notes on Tint Wiz also is for example, for a detail. I know not a lot of detail shops use Tint Wiz. It's usually window tint businesses, but it's very universal. I use it especially for detailing. There's a spill in between the driver and passenger seat. You're not going to see it, but it's there. Make sure you get that out, and then they're able to look at it. And then I don't have to call them and tell them this whole conversation, because I don't have to put in that all on my booking or whatever I was doing on the calendar. It was more verbal. But now it's I was finally getting all the systems and operations in place. And I was like, dude, we gotta use this app now, because now it's putting everything in one location. And even commercial residential, it's that's also in that location. So now it's detailing window tint jobs at the shop, canned proposals, and those I was looking at the other day, and it was canceled jobs I was looking at, or people that, canceled for whatever reason. And I'm looking at this and I'm scrolling. I'm oh, okay, let me click and call that guy back. But that was all verbal before. And it was sometimes I'll remember 2 weeks later, yo, we had a ceramic coating, it was a $1,400 job, and they canceled because they had to go out of town for family emergency. Now I'm I'll think about it. I'm oh, okay, cool. Let me call them back up. But sometimes I'll lose their number because I'll cancel their booking, but that never saved them in a database like Tint Wiz has. So now I'll call them up now, and I'm yo, I seen that I hope everything went well with your family. Were you still interested in getting that job done? Sometimes we book them, sometimes we don't, but I'd rather have the chance than not be able to handle that at all. And that was a big thing that from the switch over and adding all these clientele, which honestly, year for year, this year versus last year, we're probably doing about 4 times as much business now that everything's in one location. And then I get to focus on, just the scaling on the ads aspect of it, and then also scaling flat glass, which just gives me so much more time. And now my installer at the shop, is able to put stuff on the schedule, and it doesn't always have to be me. It's not oh, call this client, he's at the shop. And that's what it was, just old school. It was just kind of what I was dude, I need to do something that's going to change the aspect of the business. I look at other bigger businesses like your guys's and other businesses, and they're using Tint Wiz, and I'm why though? Why is everybody using this app?
Communication.
Yeah, communication. It's a big thing, especially when you have a team. It was huge, because then I started hiring on more employees, and I'm I don't want to call everybody the day before work, or if something canceled. I don't want to have to be oh, forgot to call them until work was canceled. They could see on the app that their job just got canceled or rescheduled or whatever the case is. And I started giving them more tasks, yo, they canceled. Go give them a call and see what's going on, because now their phone number's on there. I'm not the one that just has access to their phone number. And that was a big thing. And then also teaching sales to them. Whenever somebody comes in looking for window tint, I have heat displays in the shop. I'm don't be pushy, inform them, find out their problem, and then try to guide them to their solution. Don't yo, you need ceramic tint. Boom. Figure out what they want. If it's a lease vehicle, I even just Shrugged my shoulders. I'm like, I wouldn't even try to recommend you a ceramic film if you're getting rid of the vehicle. But if you plan on keeping it, or if you even care about heat rejection, I'm gonna recommend you this film. And I'll tell them the same way. They've sold a lot of ceramic tint jobs to lease vehicles that they're not even planning on keeping. They're like, oh, I just want for the heat rejection. I'm planning on selling the vehicle either way. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it's kind of stupid. You're gonna get rid of the vehicle.
Well,
but
it's comfort. You're buying comfort for 2 or 3 years.
Exactly, but it's always like a perspective thing. And then I've noticed that a lot about that. It's not my budget. It's not like what I think is best for the customer. It's like, it's what obviously the job scope can handle, and also what they want.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's just like that. Taking my perspective out of it was a big thing.
That's a huge trap for people in this industry, especially if they've been doing it for a long time. Like the idea, like for me growing up in it, the idea that I'd go spend $800 to tint my car is just like, I'm not doing that because I know what I can get the film for. I know I can go do it myself.
Yeah.
But that's not the average person. Like you're looking at it from such a different angle.
Oh, yeah, no. The auto game has definitely changed tremendously. I mean, we had a Tesla 3 in here. No, a Tesla Y.
Yep.
Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was $2,400. i3 on the whole thing. Windshield, sunroof, full vehicle.
And see, even now, I like charged $1,300 a couple of days ago on a tin job, and I'm like, I thought I was charging a lot, and it wasn't a lot of film.
In that market, that's good, bro.
Are you doing a panoramic sunroof?
We did the double pano.
So this was a 5 foot. I mean, it's definitely, obviously, it depends on market. I mean, with the size of your market, still $1,400 for a single vehicle, like do 2 or 3 of those in a day.
You said population's like under 30,000 for 60 miles.
28,000 people.
Yeah. So did people hear that? It's possible in a small town.
Yeah. So I don't want anybody. So that's the craziest thing about it. And I feel like that's a lot of the power and like my influence is like everybody's in Orange County or this place or that place, and they're charging $300-400, $500 for a ceramic tint job. And they're like, dude, I can't get anybody to pay this. And I'm like, I don't live in a 28,000 people population where people are driving Lamborghinis, and I live off a lakefront. Like people have mansions. There's one mansion in my city. Every other house is, a regular 3-bedroom to 5-bedroom house. That's it. There's ranch properties and, bigger properties. Well, there's probably, I don't know what people would consider a mansion, but I mean, if it has 10-car garage and it's
a mansion.
That's a mansion. I consider it a mansion. There's only one of those, to my knowledge,
10-car garage. Yeah.
It's a mansion. But I've never done work for them, and that house is always vacant. Somebody will buy it and then they'll sell it. They'll buy it and then they'll sell it. So it's just my market won't even, it just won't, I guess, complement people that live that kind of lifestyle. So I do basic cars all day long, like nothing very exciting. Base model stuff, like just stuff they just get from the dealership. Nothing super crazy. The craziest thing I've done is probably a plane out there, but that's one of the 1, 2, 3 people out there that are actually really doing it with construction or engineering or whatever the case is. And it's like, okay, cool. But it's people think that you can't charge that much for, a basic car. And I'm like, dude, it's possible. You guys just haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've only been doing this for 5 years, right? And there's people that have been in shops for 10, 20 years that are still charging $250 for a full ceramic tint job on full size back glass. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing?
Oh, well, it's film they're buying. They're buying, yes, it's ceramic, but not all ceramic films are created equally. They're buying a box for like $300, and it has an IR coating in it, but it's probably going to fail in the first month. And the film might not change colors, but you're going to lose all your heat rejection. And then, it's being scared to take that leap or jump just because I think it's an irreversible decision.
Or they're not putting out good enough quality to get that price. There's like all the other factors.
Yeah.
Like maybe they are getting enough leads, but they're not contacting them immediately. Like the 1 or 2 people that they might be getting that would pay more, they're losing before they ever even call them.
Or the quality of work is just that bad.
Or the phone conversation is bad. I mean, I've heard some of these calls that Austin and everybody's been doing, and it's like,
dude, I've been listening to those, and I'm like, some of these people requested them to call their shop. And I'm like, okay, you think that they'd be ready to like respond to this? And I'm like, They just answer the phone. They're just like, okay, yeah, you have a Model 3 Tesla, cool. So standards this much, ceramics this much.
Yeah.
One blocks out more heat and the other one doesn't. And then it's just like, and then they're like, all right, I'll call back. And it's never like,
what do you
did you need any more information? Like what were you looking to achieve? You know, like, or is it a price thing, or was it what are you looking for? Like if it's a price thing, I tell the clients, I'm like, if it's a price thing or they're calling me price shopping, I'll tell them, like, if you guys are price shopping, I'll be honest, I'm not going to be the most inexpensive in the area. What I can tell you is this. I'm like, there's been several shops that came in and out of Ridgecrest that claim this lifetime warranty, et cetera, that come to my shop and ask me if I could fix this work from some guy 2 years ago, you know, that I don't know what kind of film they put on your car. They're like, oh, I paid $300. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you, you know, like, and he was like, yeah, I got a lifetime warranty, but this corner of my door is peeling. And I'm like, well, we can fix that. But I'm like, we're not the same business. And I plan on being here for the long term. And with that, I want to purchase a higher quality film so I don't go out of business in 10 years when everything fails. Yeah. I'm like, if everything fails and I'm like, I'm replacing and having to take a hit, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Removals on cars, I'm like, we're going to damage defroster lines. We're going to, you know, there's all these high risk stuff. And then they're like, oh, I didn't think of that. And I'm like, what also I could tell you is like, we're obviously not perfect. We're human. So the job's going to come out as perfect as we can possibly make it.
Yep.
I can't guarantee you 100% perfect install, but we're going to make it to where you don't have any questions about anything. And if you do, we're obviously going to walk you through everything. And we have 100% money back guarantee. I do carry that. I don't push it out there, but I'll let them know that I want you to leave 100% satisfied because I want you guys to go tell 5 more people of how happy you are with the job you just got done. And then the price just goes out the window because now they're thinking like, oh, that guy that with 20 reviews on Google just charged me $400 for a tint job and you charged me $700. But yeah, they're doing it out of their garage and you're actually a established business that pays shop overhead and you're actually planning on being here for a long time. And I'm like, yeah, if you follow me for any length of time, you've known that year after year I've scaled. It's I want to grow this business to where at the end of the day, we're the shop to go to when it comes to ceramic tint, when it comes to flat glass, residential, commercial window tinting. And then they just forget about the price, usually. But I mean, sometimes they're price shopping still at the end of the day. And I'm like, if they're price shopping and you want ceramic, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And a lot of times I shrug my shoulders and I'm like, I don't know what they're putting on your vehicle. I don't want to speak for any other shop because I never bash any other shop. That's not good business.
No.
I'm like, well, that shop down the street. Da, 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 da. I'm like, no. I try to be like in the middle where I'm like, I can only speak for what we do. But you know, from the guy down the street, I don't know how they're doing ceramic tint jobs for $300 when.
That's usually what I'll end up saying. Is like, I'm not sure how they're doing that, but I mean, by all means.
I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, we're double the price, but why? You know, like when you go get a car wash, right? You pay $10 at a coin wash. There's a reason it's $10. You go get a detail and it's $70 or whatever for a basic wash, but look at the quality in like your $10 car wash. You still got bugs on your grill. You still got bugs on your windshield that you have to go. You have leaking water out of everywhere. That's going to create hard water. Your wheels still have brake dust all over them. You paid, I guess you could say 7 to 8 times more, but now you're actually happy with your product. We're going to try our best to do it once and right the first time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my biggest separating factor. Nobody and I watch the things where they get on the phone, they're like, oh, this is the price, boom. Okay, I'll call you back. And they're just like, oh, okay, cool. Boom. And I'm like, you guys didn't even have the sale when you guys even answered the phone.
No, well, first you start off with identifying their problem.
Yeah.
And getting through that. And if a customer doesn't even want to give you those things, as much as they're qualifying us, you're qualifying them too. So if a customer doesn't want to give up that certain information, like one thing, it's like, I want everyone, when we get a phone call, like you need to gather information, either it being, you know, obviously email address and like get their information. If they're saying, I just want a price, like if they're not willing to give you any kind of information, like a company policy, we have to get this into our database so we can send you a proposal. And like, I don't want to do that. Like I could probably tell you 9 times out of 10 or 99 out of 100 times, that's not my client. Unfortunately, it's just not.
Yeah. And that's just how it is. I mean, you're not like you guys said, if your closing rate's super, super high, then either your price is just too low, You know, I mean, you could be the best closer in the world, but your price is too low. Then I mean,
well, then you just have a labor problem, and then that backs into, as you being a business owner, if I have a labor problem, now I have to hire more people. Now I have more cost of hiring people. I have to insure them. I got to give them benefits.
Well,
like it used to inquire more cost to where it's like I'd rather be idling right around that 40% mark, to where if I just doubled my price and I went from 80 to 40, I'm still taking the same dollar amount in, and I just technically solved my labor problem to where I can still use the same labor I have, and I'm bringing in way more money. And then also it's material cost too. Like it's half the material cost. Like what you were saying, like the fact like, hey, we're going to be here. We're not going to go nowhere. Like shops come and go. The reason why we cost so much more is we are buying a premium product. Not to say that they're not buying a premium product, but I don't know what they're buying. You have no clue. And I'll tell people, I'll generalize the industry in general. I'll say, unfortunately, our industry is plagued, unfortunately, with some bad actors where they will tell you that you're getting one thing and they'll pull a different box out the back. And
I say the same thing.
And it's like, I
or
hate
they
when they do
just
that.
don't know any better.
Well, no, and it's like, I tell them, like, I hate when people do that because it gives our industry a real bad name, because then someone thinks they're getting a product that's going to do its job and it doesn't. And then that person's going to talk to everyone like, that stuff doesn't work. Especially for like flat glass too. If you do not diagnose a window correctly and you put the wrong film on, not so much you worry about breaking glass, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't achieve any more heat rejection because you put the wrong film on. That person's not going to say tint doesn't work.
No.
That's a big problem. The other reason why we cost so much more is it's labor turnover. Like I pay my guys a premium. I pay my guys above what technically market value is going to say I should pay them when you say the whole industry as a whole. And I pay them more because I want to make sure that they're well compensated. They come in, they bust their ass, they do great work, and I want to make sure they're putting out high quality work at all times. So if you want to say I overpay my guys, sure, I do it for a reason, because I want them to put out.
You want them to put out a product that they're proud of.
Exactly.
And the thing is if they're not, they should be not necessarily scared to get fired. But I gave them an opportunity to where this is going to be better than anywhere that they possibly ever have. So I want good work coming out.
Yep.
And then I also, I'll tell them that too. I'm like my tinner is not making McDonald's salary. It's like my tinner's doing a lot better than that. And I'm like, I pay him accordingly because he's prideful on the work that he puts out. If I just hired somebody, taught him how to tint some windows, I have a plotter. So, I mean, they could throw some windows up in theory and, within a week or something like that. But then there's going to be dirt particles all over the place, creases and all that stuff. And because I wanted to grab the bare bottoms guy just to lower my prices and then I'm going to lower the quality. I'm like, no.
Yep.
And I obviously want to make a living. And that's also the thing is like a lot of the clients that are price shopping, they don't want you to win. They want to be the winner when it comes out. They want to break down how much you're making on each job. And they want to be like, you shouldn't be making more than me. So they want you to stump down to the level. And it's like, no, I mean, like, after growing the business for 5 years, after not profiting for the first 3 and growing my business to a spot where I can actually expand and actually finally take a profit, they don't want you to profit. It's like, I mean, they're not your client. They're your client is the one that wants to see you grow. You want them to be like, oh, I just told 5 people about your business. Not necessarily even about the service. It's more like just customer interaction. They even now I tell my installer, I'm like, I want you to talk to these clients and I want you to see and look at how they react to when they get this tint job done. And I want you to see like how good of a job you did. And I want you to feel good about it. Right. And then we obviously send out Google reviews, which is super important for a lot of businesses, obviously if you want to optimize your SEO and stuff like that. Yeah. So a lot of them now are putting his name in there because he's taking the same type of customer, I guess, interaction that I've been doing for the past couple of years that I've had him. Now he's like giving that same type of satisfaction. And I've had old clients that have only got serviced by me when it comes to detailing, polishing, paint correction, ceramic coatings, whatever. They just get new vehicles every year and they just want to get the best stuff done to it. And it's like, oh, I thought I wanted to talk to you, but I realized that your guy knew everything that you knew, was very educated. He handled me correctly. Like he gave me correct expectations, walked me through everything at the end, made sure he knew everything that couldn't be to the satisfaction that he wanted or what was impossible, whatever the case was, whatever he ran into when it comes to detailing. Because I feel like that also transfers over to like explaining expectations for window tint.
Yeah.
Stuff's not going to be perfect. So it kind of moved in a correct way, I guess. And then he's like, dude, I feel very safe like talking to anybody else because they're at your standard. And that's all we want to do. I mean, when you pay somebody more, it's like you don't want them to just show up and do the work. You want them to actually be enthusiastic about, oh, like, yeah, we're gonna like tint these windows. They're gonna make you're gonna make you so much more comfortable inside your house. Make sure you're very polite, like you said, like take your shoes off before you get in the house and stuff, like little stuff like that. Be very polite, like, and it transfers over. You pay a guy like market value where they can go to another shop and get paid the same amount. It's like all they're showing up to do is lay some window film down.
Yep.
And that's it. And they're gonna come and we were talking, me and Chris were talking recently about another shop that's very, very low end, charges $150 for full size back glass and like some standard film. And you look at the installers back there, and nobody has a uniform on. Like they don't have a budget for that. It's like they're just coming in
missing some teeth.
Yeah, missing some teeth, like wearing the same clothes from yesterday. Like it's just like there's no budget for any of that stuff. And it's like I'm like, it's crazy because I made sure to try to maximize every avenue of my business. Like even with uniforms now, I make sure everybody's wearing a polo now. I made it to where I'm like, I don't want to be the t-shirt guys. I want to show up. I want to have a polo. I want to have my logo nicely screen printed. These are like, performance polos. I want you guys to feel good when you're working. They're not like you're not like all hot all day long. I'm like, dude, I want you guys to be comfortable, and then also look the part too. Like when you come to my shop, it's like everybody has a polo on with my name on it or my business name on it. And everybody, it's just a different feeling from going to a, smaller shop that everybody's just wearing whatever they want. And it's like, you don't even know who you're talking to when it comes to who owns what or who's the, it's just a different perspective as to what the client sees. And I try to check all those boxes now.
Do you worry though, by having your name in the business name itself is going to trap you to where you'll never be able to sell? Not to say that if you're looking to ever sell, but do you ever worry about that being a trap? Because if Dante is not there at Dante's Detailing or Dante's Window Tint division.
So that's a great question. So put it like this. I mean, when I made the switch over to not being at the shop as much, a lot of people was asking for me. Like I said, that guy from a couple years ago was asking for me, but now he knows that he can talk to somebody else and have that same, I guess, client go around, like figure out what services he wants, walk him through everything that he's possibly going to do. I have framework when it comes to quoting jobs and stuff like that, and expectations and notes just for them to look at and be able to go over everything. So when it comes to, and this is with all like systems and operations, when I end up selling this business or exiting this business later on down the road, I don't want, or not necessarily I don't want, I think that me as a person, it's not going to be me in the ads anymore. It's not going to be me at all. It's going to be Dante's custom. So on my shop, it's Dante's Customs, and then it just says window tint, detailing, ceramic coatings. There's nothing flat glass related on my actual storefront shop.
Which that's fun.
And I rarely post myself in ads now. I have a lot of older ad stuff that I posted in, and I'll do ads like here and there. I'll go to the shop and make videos or whatever, but it's usually my guys that aren't Dante. It's Dayton with Dante's Custom Detailing, or it's Mike from Dante's Custom, or it's Danny with Dante's Customs. So when I end up selling the business, it's going to be like kind of like it's my name.
But it's already stapled in. You are, well, no, those are all the correct steps. I mean,
they're not asking for me anymore when they come to the shop.
Ultimately, what'll make it sellable is if it doesn't require you to continue to run it. So if you're training a crew like you said you are, and they have ownership and the systems are in place, the systems and the math of what profit's coming out the other end, the least that it's reliant on you, the better. Like the name, I don't think matters.
So the perfect example of this is recently when I started implementing Tint Wiz, and this is I went on like a week, not vacation. I want to call it a vacation because I didn't go on a vacation. I went away for a week, and I wanted to see if my business would sink or swim because I watched a lot of Alex Mosey stuff, and
you're talking about that one clip of the guy who's got the $2.2 million business and got.
I mean, there's several. There's so many of them where they just feel like they're they're a bigger part of the business than they actually are.
What?
And
They're
it's
the
because
restraint.
nobody has let them or let their employees or their team members do what I do.
Yeah.
Talk to the clients, book them on the schedule, convey results on different projects. And I finally stepped away for a week to see my business would sink or swim. And I have clients, it's a hot season. I have clients coming to the shop and, and Tint Wiz is so easy that from the beach that I was at, I explained how to use Tint Wiz over the phone to my installer, had him download it while he was at the shop. And I'm like, look, this is how you add clients to the schedule. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you create a project. This is how you do this. And he figured it out within 10 minutes of me on the phone with him. And I was actually always not necessarily scared about implementing Tint Wiz, but I was like, dude, I don't want to add this client and then book this appointment, and then it sent him a notification that his appointment's this because I did something wrong. But I was like, I figured it out. And then I explained it to him over the phone, added all the appointments I had on my calendar over to that. And we actually had the best week that we ever had in the business after doing, to that point. We had the best week in business because all I did now was focus on the ads. I just was putting out, I was using Meta, and then I was also doing organic. So I post a lot of organic stuff on these Facebook groups that I'm in. And I was just booking. I was able to assign jobs to detail job, tint job, detail job, tint job. And it was like, all I was doing is filling out the week. Boom, 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 boom. And then he was also doing it too while he was there. And he was able to look at the schedule and not be able to, or not have to call me and be like, yo, can we get them in on Wednesday? It was always like they stopped at the shop. Boom. When's as soon as we can get them in? And it's like, no, you could check now.
Yes.
So he was doing it in the beginning a little bit. And then I was like, dude, check the app. And he was like, oh, I forgot that we have that. So then boom, he would check it. And then he'd be like, oh yeah, we can get you in on Wednesday. And I'll hear him on the phone. Like, we can get you on a Wednesday, put you in. This is what kind of tint you're getting. Boom, put the service in. Sending you appointment reminders the day prior. And once I did that, I implemented Tint Wiz, and then I fully stepped away from business for a week. Like I said, the business did the most revenue in the week that we've ever done before with me there at all. So now I probably go to the shop a couple days a week. I'm not there much. I'm more focused on posting flat glass content. And if I go out and do flat glass because I like it, I taught my tint installer now at the shop, the one that's adding all the appointments, the schedule and stuff like that. I just taught him flat glass the last couple days. So he put out some installs that I was really impressed with. I mean, it kind of transfers over a little bit. Just obviously relief cuts and stuff were a little bit different for him. Obviously going from plotter and cutting windshields out and stuff like that. But yeah. He can honestly go out and do flat now. That I'd be and then he's not sending out any chopped work or botched work. Like I said, he's not getting paid to the point where he's just out there installing whatever windows and just leaving. So he knows what kind of expectations. Maybe we should redo a window. He'll redo the window. I'm like, listen, I'd rather you redo the window. I'm not going to chew you out for wasting $30 in film. I'd rather not come back.
Because it's going to cost you more in the long run.
It's going to cost us more. And then obviously the client's going to be like, who did I hire?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, no, I'm to the point now that I'm not really at the shop. I just handle ads. I go to the shop sometimes to help out if we're overly slammed or somebody calls out, but I just focus on ads mainly. And then just I post organically pretty much every day at 6 in the morning.
So you said Facebook groups. Are you finding local Facebook groups for your town that are
so that's active? What I would recommend, especially in a smaller town and a lot of people in smaller markets. Find your local Facebook groups. I'm in about 15 of them. So, and one of them has 25,000 people. So I mean,
is it just Ridgecrest population Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
It's just everybody in Ridgecrest, 3,000 people are just you're not invited.
You'd be surprised. One of them's called "What the fuck is Ridgecrest?" and it's faster than, or "What the fuck is happening in Ridgecrest?" It is faster than news.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like today in the morning, I'm driving here. There's a freeway. They go the 395. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
It goes straight to. So from where I'm at, I could either go through Death Valley or I can hit the 395 to the 58 to the 15.
Okay.
So it goes to like towards Riverside area. So I'm like literally about to go, and I'm like, before I left this morning, I was like looking on Facebook, and it was like accident on 395. 2 semi trucks crashed into a truck, and it was like literally 4 hours. Like it was in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m. or something, and I was leaving at 6 something. And I'm like looking at this, and I'm like, oh shit. So I'm driving. I see the cones there, so I already know what happened on there, and it hasn't hit the news or anything yet. So I had to go all the way around, whatever. But it's very fast, and when it comes to posting, people are like pretty much posting every single day. It's updates about everything under the sun. That could be McDonald's.
Ice cream machine's broken again.
Yeah, no, literally, seriously. So, but
McFlurries.
I take advantage of it more than anybody else does, though, because I don't have to work in the shop and my hands aren't full all the time. And I've noticed that too, though. Even when I do flag glass, sometimes I'm getting overloaded with phone calls because I still handle all the sales over the phone, not the ones at the shop, because now he does that. Sometimes now I'll be like, if you're interested in like looking through our films, I would come to the shop, and then we have heat displays in different shades, and you guys can look at everything, and then you guys can make your decision there. Then I'll have him go make the sale, but I'll give him price over the phone if they want, like, and then I'll book them on the schedule. If they're like, I want to book an appointment, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you already know what you kind of want. You probably knew somebody that got something tinted. You already kind of know pricing and everything like that. So now, not really there that much.
Do you press someone? So if someone calls, I'm just curious to see what the answer is. Say someone calls, hey, I want to book an appointment. Are you just capturing information and booking the appointment and cutting the conversation off, or are you asking any questions?
So give me an example.
Like, I say someone calls my shop and someone say, I want to get my car tinted. Okay. I want my car. You have anything on your schedule for Friday at, say, they name a time? No. What kind of car do you have? Oh, I have a Toyota Tundra. Yeah, I just want to book an appointment to get my car tinted. Okay. All your request is $100 deposit to secure the spot. You cool with that? Yep. Okay. I will tell my people, if they not necessarily avoid giving information, but if they've already locked into the fact that they want to give
about price specifically.
Oh, well, no, price, films, anything. Like, what do you look at? Like, if they're already telling me they want to book an appointment,
so
like,
usually
don't bring up anything that could give an objection. Just take the appointment, take the deposit, let them come in, and when they come in, then you can tell them.
My pushback on that would be still maybe bring up whether or not they want to do it. Do you know what you want to do? Like, do you want to do the full windshield?
So usually
is there removal? Because the window of time you're going to book, you need to know
those things. Then, yeah.
So,
but beyond that, bringing up what type of film, I'm not bringing up any types of films.
I rarely do that when it comes to just booking them on the schedule, because obviously the window, right? I usually ask them, one of the questions I ask them while I'm putting their information, they already told me their vehicle. I'm like putting it in. I'm like, oh, where'd you guys find us?
Yeah.
If it's like, oh, like I had a buddy that got their windows tinted by you guys. I'm like, do you know what kind of film they got? Oh, they got the ceramic, the heat rejecting kind. And I'm like, are you looking for the same kind? Okay, cool. So, and then I asked them if there's any removal. And then they're like, no, I don't think so. If it's a truck, they're like, sometimes they think it's all the back. I'm like, so yeah, the back's tinted. So do I need to remove it, or?
And then I would follow that too. Do you know if your friend got the clear ceramic on the windshield? Like, that'd be.
Yeah. So I usually try to ask them, because they usually base it off of what they got, which is kind of the best type. If it's like a full ceramic job, I'm like, oh, okay. Do you want exactly what they got? I'm like, okay, yeah. And then I'll put it all in. I'll give them like their price, and usually they're not objecting to it because they know what their friend paid. They probably asked them in the conversation, like, how much did you pay? So I'm probably going to pay around there. So it's pretty easy. So, and then also it also saves from, them getting there and there's a full removal on like a 2002 Mustang or something.
The removal, yeah, I can understand. Removal or windshield. Like, are you just looking at your car tint or everything, or you want your windshield tinted too?
I only have one tint installer, so I try not to like harass him with a full removal, and he has other tint jobs. During that day.
Full car with the windshield, and also it's removal, and it's $19.99. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, and then also the removals do stray away a lot of people when they figure out how much they're already spending on a tint.
What do you charge for removal?
So I charge $30 a roll up, $15 for quarters, and then $75 for back windows. But it depends on the back windows depend on how weathered the film is.
So a 4-door car is gonna be about $200.
$225. $225.
That's good.
But we went. So I used to do hourly, but the thing is, with the hourly, you get scared.
Yeah, we just throw out 250. 250. If they say no to it, especially during the summertime, there is a car that doesn't have tint right behind you that wants to fill that void.
Yeah. So what I tell,
at least for us, obviously we have like over 3 million people here, so we're able to attack it like that. We used to stay at 100 for a long time, and we were scared to raise it. We finally said, no, screw this. We're moving it to 250.
Yeah. I mean, it saves you time on your guy because removals are just, they could just be super. So that's what I was saying with the flat rate pricing. I used to do hourly, but then like they get scared because I'm like, it could take an hour and a half. It could take 4 hours.
It could take 8 if it's really crappy.
Yeah. So we've done ones where you have to take the whole deck lid out and stuff like
that's
that.
a bad offer too, because then you're incentivized to make it take longer, and they see that on their side.
They don't like it.
They don't like the uncertainty of it, right? So then I just started doing flat rate. I usually am able to tell by the vehicle if it's going to be a pain in the neck or not. But yeah, we started doing flat rate just because some of the windows, if it's just like 2 fronts or whatever the case is, some of them will take us 5 minutes. They don't even have adhesive left over. It's just like boom, peel. And then I have my installer. We started doing flat rate not super long ago, but like not super recent either. But when we started doing that, he was like, one of the jobs like pulled in. It was like, I think I charged 60 or I think it was $60. Yeah, for 2 fronts. He's like, I just want the film taken off. I just got the car. I don't like the film on the 2 front windows. I'm like, okay, cool. So he took the windows off, and like, I'm talking to the client still in the parking lot. He pulls the car in, and we're talking about her other car that she wants to get ceramic coated. And he's like, boom, walking up, like all proud, like he just removed it in like 2 minutes.
You gotta get some time to buffer, my man.
Exactly. So I'm like, listen, I'm like, you got to understand this in business, right? We just made $60 in 2 minutes, and she could have probably done that in the parking lot right now. All she had to do is peel that top edge and pull that window film right off, right? But she didn't know that. But on the jobs that we took extra long on those vehicles, we're not getting that time back. So that $60 we just made in 2 minutes is going to make up for the shitty removal we have to do. And I take in mind that. And usually the removals aren't horrible.
No, majority of them are. You gotta take the good with the bad. Like you'll have the one that'll take the 6 hours for a back window, and you're in there with the steamer, and you try everything possible to save the defrosters. Then it ends up being a phone call like, hey man, we're 4 or 5 hours into this. Like, we got to scrape your back window. The only other way to do this is you're going to leave your vehicle with us for the next couple of days. And people like to scrape the back window, especially in Vegas.
So I've talked to a couple window tint installers, and if it's a terrible, like they know that like it. So perfect example is we just had a removal on this 2010 Mustang. Yeah.
In 2010.
Yeah. So the client was not happy with us at all. Like but the thing is over the phone, happy, jolly, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, cool. Asked her if could we provide rides anywhere in the city. It's not a huge city. Our city's 3 miles wide. So I'm like, I'll give you rides anywhere. Like, honestly, if you need a ride to like the store, will take you. Like, I don't care. Like, we'll take you anywhere you want. To the movies, and then from the movies you want to go home. Okay, cool. Like, I don't care. Like, we'll do it. You know, it just steps us above the rest of everybody, right? So we offered her a ride to work. She said no. And I was like, okay, like, are you sure? Like, we'll give you a ride to work. I don't want you walking to work if it's far. I mean, it's not that hot outside. And this is in March, I think. And she didn't accept that. And I was like, okay, cool. She's like, no, I'll just walk. I need the exercise. I'm like, okay, cool. Boom, we're removing this tint on this Mustang. Sides, whatever, they got removed off. The back window, though, tell you this much, it was a disaster, like, of a removal. So we finally got down to the point where we could not reach like the bottom 4 inches with anything we possibly ever did. Like, we were putting 6-inch Triumphs on channel blades.
Shit.
Yeah, it's just, 6-inch Triumph on a channel. Like trying to get this tint off, right? And we just realized, I'm like, okay, we got to take the deck lid off, like, right? But she had like a million things in her trunk. Like a million things. Like, it looked like the whole house was in her trunk. I don't know how she fit everything. It was just a bunch of stuff. He calls me. I'm in LA, actually. We're producing these shirts. This is actually the time we're producing the shirts. And he's like, yo, I'm pretty sure I have to take the deck lid off. I'm like, well, there's no other jobs for today. I'm like, you might as well just do it. I'm like, take the L, finish the tint job. Yeah. We charged actually $380 to remove all this tint. So it was like, I'm like, all you have to do is remove that 5 inches and we're secured for this $380.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm like, yo, yeah. I was like, just take your stuff out of her trunk. I'm like, you gave us the keys to the vehicle. We have access to the vehicle. I guess not the trunk.
Well, if I would have opened it and saw a bunch of stuff, I would say I would like to think that my auto manager would probably call and say, hey, we got to do this. So we're going to remove all these things.
Let me lead up to that. So she gets off work. It's around 2. She comes and he's explaining like all night. He's like, yeah, like, this is taking a lot longer than expected. Like we can't reach this bottom. You know, we might have to take the deck lid off. So they open the trunk and he's showing like the clips he has to take off and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then, so the trunk's open. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it was wrong of us to not ask formally that we have to take all the stuff out of the trunk. But it was so much stuff that it got like it was too much stuff to put on a table. So it was like it overflowed like on the shop floor and stuff. And she made it seem like we just got in her trunk and just started going like this. And we have cameras, so that didn't happen. Everything got set down. And she was like, she threw my camera. And over the phone, she's cussing. Like, and I'm driving through the mountains in LA. She's like, you need to answer me right now. Like, and I'm like, I look at you know how like it sends you a voicemail like message kind of, and I'm reading this message and I'm like, we only have one client in the shop and she's been super nice. I'm like, this can't be this client. There's no shot. I call her as this client. Hey, threw all my stuff on the floor, and then she's like in the parking lot pacing back and forth. And Dayton's texting me like, is she on the phone with you right now? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, she's on the phone with me. And she's like, I don't know, like, but the thing is she didn't confront them. The bay door's open, so she didn't confront them. She's like in the maybe 20 yards out, right, walking, pacing back and forth, yelling in the parking lot on the phone, and he like doesn't know she's still there. She I guess she like left after they had that conversation. Was sitting on these benches in front where there's a restaurant. And I guess just like peeking around the corner. And yeah, no, she comes, started spazzing on me on the phone. I'm like, oh, like, I'm sorry. Like I'm not there to like see exactly what happened. She's like, she knew that I was around the corner. He didn't know she was around the corner. Sitting, right? And yeah, so she's just going off. I'd show you this voicemail. I still have it, but I don't want to bleed that out to the world. But yeah, she's like, this is what she said. She's like, he's looking at me like I'm a dumb fuck. And I'm like, there's no shot right now. I'm like, it's honestly not even worth it to like even complete this job. I'm like, honestly, it sounds like what they had to do is take like the inside of it apart, which she was like, yeah, you mentioned it, but like, I didn't know he was going to take all my stuff out of my trunk. I'm like, well, how do you expect me to get back there? Right. So I'm like, I was being super nice over the phone, and I mean, I'm still like, not like, yeah, we should have went about it better. But yeah, then, she starts telling me that she's like, how am I supposed to pick my granddaughter up if you guys aren't finished with the vehicle? And I'm like, do you need your vehicle back? She's like, well, no, they're still working on it. And I'm like, we can get you your vehicle back. It's not like I didn't know that you had to pick your granddaughter up. I wasn't informed of this. I'm like, if that's the case, we can. But she walks her home from her house. So I was like, well, if you'd like, we could just drive you back to your house. And she's like, how am I supposed to pick my granddaughter up? And I'm like, where's your granddaughter? She's like, she's at the school right next to my house. I walk her home. And I'm like, well, we can drive you home if you want, and then drive you back to the shop, or drive both of you guys back to the shop. Like, it's not a problem. And she's like, no, well, they're still working on it. And then she starts saying that they're pissed off because her air conditioning doesn't work. And I'm on the phone. I have a video of this. I wanted to like make a post about it, but I was like, I'm not gonna do it. No, because Chris was recording me like on the phone with her, and she. I'm like, yeah. I was like, what do you mean the air conditioning is not? because they can't get the tint off without the air conditioning being on. And I'm like, wait, I was like, defroster line? I'm like trying to like put the 2 and 2 together. Like, making sure to heat the defroster lines up, trying to get the back window off. I'm like putting every scenario in my head known to man. So I guess he like had to move the car in the parking lot and the air conditioning was on or something. And it was like ticking. And she was like, oh, the air conditioning doesn't work. He just turned it off. And I was like, there's no cars inside my shop running. I was like, I don't leave cars. I was like, I'm not trying to die. So I was like, no, we don't work on the cars on in the shop. And then it was just like a whole nightmare. Then she said she was going to come back. But what came down to it is after that, I was like, dude, I'm not trying to remove that again. So I called the glass guy because she wanted to reschedule. And I was like, it sounds like you need your car back. We'll put everything back the way you want it. Make sure nothing's damaged. But then she made it seem like we were going to steal stuff out of her trunk. She's like, well, what if something goes missing? And I'm like, well, you gave me keys to your car. I'm like, we have access to your car. I'm like, we don't do that. I'm like, our reviews reflect that. I'm like, we don't do that kind of business. Anyways, but
that sounds like a hell of a
this is
learning
why
lesson.
I like flat glass cars.
But the thing is, I never had a client like that for flat.
I mean, you're gonna catch them, man.
No,
Like,
it's gonna happen for flat.
You'll catch them. It's numbers, man. Like 1 out of 1,000 people are gonna be a nightmare.
So that's what I realized with scaling too. Is if you don't have like a 1-star Google review, you're not pushing hard enough. And I've seen that in a lot of like businesses where it's like if you look at a perfect, I mean, you guys might have a perfect score. I don't know. So
we're like 4.9 or
We
something.
have like
but there's
20 or
most of the
31
bad ones are.
stars, but if you read through them, you can read through them, you can see their responses, and you can read between the lines.
Yeah, we got our first 1-star. It wasn't even from this lady. It was from another guy that we tried to fix whatever he was worried about. He denied. And then it was actually a detail job. So we tried to fix whatever he was worried about. He denied the fact that like we tried to fix it. I even incentivized him $50 to come back to the shop in order for us to address it. That's just something that I tell my installers now. I'm like, if there's an issue, I don't want them to feel like they have to go out of their way to like, you know, especially if it's small. I'm like, incentivize them $50. Like we'll credit you guys. We'll give you $50 cash to come back to the shop so we can fix it. I'm like, I rather just fix this and you be happy, which you just done this recently on, forgot what it was exactly, but it was a detail. It was another detail. It's a lot of the lower ticket. That's what it is though. It's the lower ticket jobs that.
Another reason to raise your prices. It weeds that out. Yeah.
So it was another detail and he wanted a budget option, but he didn't want to spend a lot of money. And it was just like,
yeah,
what do you like? I tried to help you out and then it ended up screwing us. And then I was like, incentivize him $50 to come back to the shop so he doesn't feel like he's wasting his time to fix 10 minutes of whatever he wanted us to fix. And you know, he's happy now. He messaged me. He was like, thank you for taking care of this, whatever. And it's like, now he's happy. He's not like gonna throw my name into the dirt. Like,
well, a lot of those people too, what I'll do is, because I mean, majority of the time, especially when someone's bringing a car to us, I'd rather you scrap the tint now. I'd rather you keep it longer now. Even if we told them we're going to have it back to them in a certain time frame. If we don't get it back to them in a time frame, they better have gotten a phone call at least an hour or more before we knew we weren't going to meet that time frame. Let them know like, hey, we found something in a window. We didn't like the way it looked. We pulled it back in. We stripped that window down. We're going to retint it. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit longer. We're very sorry that's going to take longer, but we don't let that work. Oh, that's what ends up happening.
They're like, oh, you seen a tiny imperfection and you wouldn't let that slide out your shop. I appreciate you.
Yeah, as long as you do that to where it's not like, all right, they show up to get their car and you're like, all right, so this is what happened. It's like, dude, I just drove here. You could have just called me earlier. I've been completely fine with it. So take care of it now. Because I don't want them to have to come back. Because I will always take care of it. But if they have to take another day out of their time and take an hour, depending on where they're at in the valley for Vegas, and drive back to us or fix something and then leave again, like we're stealing their time. To where there are certain times.
What do you do to incentivize them to come back so you can fix it?
I usually go to them. Depending on what the problem is. Like I've had issues where I'll go pick the car up.
Oh, okay.
So like if it escalates to that point where it gets past like it's now Brennan's. Especially now, like I've implemented where like Brennan handles everything now. I have like, he's technically GM of auto. Armando's the GM of flat. I don't deal with like, if a customer gets to me, unfortunately, I'm putting out a big fire. And it's like, they went now beyond the manager, because the manager can do anything within their power to make sure that customer gets taken care of. That is either refund or whatever it is.
Do they request to talk to you guys anymore?
The requests happen, but it's not.
I want to talk to the owner.
Yeah, they'll still happen. That's when I step in. So if the managers can't take care of something, I say can't take care of it, say the customer's escalated past that, then I'll come in for the assist.
I had a big one actually yesterday that their call was like, I need to talk to the owner, and ended up being like a $70,000 job. But for the most part, no. I'm out on sales calls all the time, so I do get people specifically calling for me just because I'm the person that went out on the consultation.
Yeah. But
not other than that, no. Like even when something goes wrong in the process, if there's something that needs to be fixed, whatever, Armando just handles it.
It goes, so the chain of command will usually goes to the two managers of each department. If for some reason I have to get brought into it, they bring me into it. And then it's like, I'll reach out to the customer. Like we had a turf burn on a customer, which there was some miscommunication between our other sales guy and her and how the situation was going to get taken care of. So I reached out to her and she
turf burn.
Yeah.
So you guys installed film and the burn still happened?
Yeah, it does. I mean, certainly like
1 out of 100,
maybe even less than that.
So do you have to cover the turf?
I do.
Yeah, that's why we use the Edge. They cover $1,000 in the repair, which most of the time that's enough.
And I could technically walk away from it at that point because everything in our proposal, everything that is pitched and sold on is that you have $1,000 guarantee. This is something that it's proven to work, but it still can burn the turf. I go beyond that and I just replace it.
So turf protection foam. I was over talking to your employee over there. So he said there's
team member.
How
dare you call him employee?
Team member. I'm so sorry. So sorry. He was saying that which film that you guys were carrying that you're getting a lot of breakages with?
So Edge, which is the Autobahn Hooper family. Edge is another one of their residential films. I'm pretty sure Edge is their non-territorial film where anyone can buy Edge. Hooper Optic is a territorial film to where they only let so many dealers in to get a hold of that film.
Yeah.
So Edge, they have two films. The first film they put out was Pristine 70. I went to my rep, Brody Matthews, and told him like, hey, this is what we need. I need this product. I went to all the manufacturers. I went to SolarGuard, 3M, Matago, Johnson.
And this is a turf.
Well, it is the same product they all have. It's just David Kratz was the only one who was able to step up and say, hey, we'll put a warranty behind it and we will not make paperwork, but we will put paperwork behind it saying this is going to prevent turf burn.
Does the price of the film reflect that? In comparison to other films?
Yes. So we have the two products, Pristine 70. That product is about 25 to 28.
Yeah, 25 is typically where we're at.
$25 a square foot. The Zen, you're up towards $38 because
installed or that's material.
That's installed.
That's installed.
No, but the Zen material is expensive.
Zen's triple the cost of Pristine.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a very expensive film, but we've had less glass breakage because of it. But I will chalk it up to the majority of the glass breakage we've had is on new builds. And how they're throwing houses up out here and the type of glass they're using, the quality of glass has come down. Like they're not polishing the edges. They're just doing cut finished edges. And if they throw a chip or anything like that, when they're putting that window into its place, if it has any kind of defect on it, when you put Pristine on, because it is a ceramic film, you're raising the absorption rate. As soon as it gets to that point, if there is any defect in that glass, it's going to crack it. Because I've actually seen all the cracks that we have had. None of them are thermal. Thermal cracks, they present in a certain way.
So most cracks happen through the absorbance of the...
It's just putting more stress on the window.
That already has a defect in it.
So it's just amplifying
highlighting it.
Yeah.
So the absorbance is like the heat absorbance of the window you're referring to. And that's what... I mean, if it already has a defect, that's what's going to
push it over the edge. And there's a good chance that window probably would have broke at some point anyway because it has a defect.
So is that the only, I mean, obviously besides metering glass and stuff like that, is that the only thing you guys look at as far as like, okay, this needs to be under this percentage of absorbance for the glass to break? So when it comes to metering any window, you're like, I don't want to go over this absorbance, or is it, do you guys look at like T-Ser?
Well, we already know based off of like what type of glass is it. I already know immediately which films are going to be good. I'm not looking as granularly at that point at the absorption because I already know these ones are the ones. These are the ones.
Majority of the manufacturers are going to have a film to glass chart.
Yes.
And they're going to let you know all right, if it's a coating on surface 3, these are all yellow triangles. You need to investigate further and make sure you're good.
So that's usually kind of what I go off of the chart. So that's what you guys go off of mainly, not necessarily percentages and stuff.
No, because they're already telling you in that chart that this film is safe for that window. If the manufacturer is saying it's safe and they're throwing their backing on it, I'm good with it.
So you know, like when it has it in the middle, it's like medium glass, or it says like this one's good for this glass. This one has a medium risk of the glass breakage.
It depends on the manufacturer's film, the glass chart. Yeah. Solar Guards is either it's straight up approved.
No. Yeah. Green, red, yellow. Yellow, call the manufacturer.
It's conditional approval.
Green,
maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is call the manufacturer. Because I put a lot of Johnson. I use a lot of Johnson. So
yeah, and then that's when they're gonna give you the feedback based off of you giving them the exact window that they can put it into the system and show, no, this is good. You're good. Because
they all, majority of the big guys, I would say, I would think majority of them in general, they all have computer models. Like I know SolarGuard does. That's why I can say it, is where we can call Miguel at SolarGuard and tell him, all right, we have this many square feet. The windows are facing west. This is the type of window it is. This is what we're looking to put on. Are we good to go?
And sometimes they'll give us options that we weren't even thinking of. Like, oh, actually that, like on for example, we learned this a couple years ago.
He learned this. I already knew it.
Double pane, triple silver on surface 2. It actually opens up your playbook to go with the dark, spectrally selective, non-reflective films, and on a clear piece of glass that doesn't have that low E coating, that film would be a no-go. It's just straight up. All of a sudden, that's a conditional approval that they're going to approve because the majority of the heat that could cause the absorption is already being blocked by that low E coating. So by the time it gets to the inner pane, there's not that much still hitting it. So obviously it depends on what they're doing it for. If it was for heat rejection, I'm going to probably go exterior. But if they want a black look, it's going to be okay to do at that point.
Yeah. And the only reason I do know that is because I had dabbled in sales a little bit before he became our main sales guy. I thought I had shared that with him, and I found out the same way. I called Miguel and said, hey, this guy's looking for a smoke black film. And he goes, what kind of windows? I'm like, well, it's Surface 2 triple silver. And he's like, oh, you can put highlight 25 on that. I was like, I can? He's like, yeah. As long as meter a couple of the windows around the house, make sure they're all the same. If they're all the same, just send me now jobs like that, you have to send in the specs to, at least for SolarGuard's protocols, you have to pretty much fill in a film to glass approval sheet, fill it out, send it into them. He takes a look at it, he gives you the approval. And now when
you get a special warranty even, right? That's on bigger projects.
That's
over
on
25.
Yeah, that's on bigger projects. But that just pretty much, it puts it in their system to where if anything does happen, you're not collecting information. The information's been collected. It's right here. This is everything. They can reference that instantly. They look at the roll numbers and everything to where they just process your warranty. Now, if it's a mass casualty in the fact of like, hey, 80% of the windows on this house just broke, they're going to want to investigate much further.
Which we've never had.
No, never had. It's so, yeah. So it depends on what the customer is looking to get done. And that's why the meter matters the most. As soon as you have your meter reading, it opens up your playbook of what you can and cannot do and being comfortable with doing it. And then knowing that the manufacturer is completely okay with you doing it. Especially like for us, for SolarGuard, like SolarGuard's owned by Saint-Gobain. Saint-Gobain is one of the oldest glass manufacturers in the world. They started off with mirrors in France, and they produce 1/3 of the world's auto glass. I'm pretty sure it's like
the second largest glass manufacturer in the world.
Yeah, they do 1/3 of the auto glass in the world. They do, I think it's 1/4 of the flat glass in the world. They produce it.
Like film?
No, glass.
The glass.
Oh,
Saint-Gobain is 360 plus years old. That's the company that owns SolarGuard.
Yeah.
So it's just like how I broke down like how Pineda's companies kind of ran. Same thing. You got Saint-Gobain up top, then you have Certainty, that's a drywall company. You have SolarGuard, that is obviously window film, and they have plastic companies. They have 11 sister companies underneath that all have to do with energy savings, depending either being insulation, window tint, glass. They control the manufacturing of all that. So if anything, if I go to Miguel and say, is this safe? With what they have database wise, like if he says good, like he's my go-to. Like, hey, this is the project we have. We had one.
So you still have questions time to time?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I'll get phone calls from people that I've networked with, and they're like, hey, what would you do here? And if I don't know the answer, I go, Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's less and less frequent, but it still happens.
Oh, okay.
The majority of the time, I don't even.
I was like, there's so many different variables.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, in the basics, there's that. But
Yeah.
then I feel like I thought you like
No,
were 100% like you knew like every single.
I
mean,
would
you probably
say
know most of the time.
good amount, but if I'm ever doubting
Against the wall,
something,
yeah.
I call Miguel. If I can't get a hold of Miguel, I call Mark at ADTM. Mark Imbrock, he makes that meter. He knows glass better than anybody.
Yeah.
And that meter was designed for the glass industry. And then it just so happened to where, hey, this is extremely useful to the tin industry. So he's like, perfect. I have another revenue stream. I'm gonna start selling to tinners. And just like he's been screaming it for the rooftops for a decade plus. Like,
So what was that
windows.
meter initially made for?
It's for identifying glass in the coating. So say if you're going to replace someone's
So if you're a
window,
glass guy.
to go say if a window breaks and you want to replace it with the same type of window.
Mm.
All right, this is what type of glass this is.
So do the glass guys have those meters?
I know.
I mean, I'm sure some do, but actually, our uncle just called me up recently. He's in construction, and he was asking about getting one. I told him how much it costs. He's like, "Oh, never mind, I'm good."
Yeah, I bought one and I just gave it to Chris because our ads are getting ran down below. So
once you do a lot of bids and you've got the films that you normally use, you'll like, I know just by metering it, like,
Yeah.
okay, this is already, and based off of what the customer is asking for, all right, these are the 3 or 2 films I'm going to show them and then I'll explain why. So I don't really look at the film to glass chart very much, but occasionally there'll be a very unique situation.
Or they want something unique.
Yeah, they want something unique, and based off the type of glass it is, I might have a question. But for the most part, not that complicated. People overcomplicate it. It's not that hard.
And then focus on that tool being a sales tool, not a save my ass tool from breaking glass, which it does, but you should be buying it because it's going to help you close jobs at a higher rate or at a higher price, because then you can give the customer the certainty of like, I only offered you these 2 films because this is going to solve your problem.
Yeah.
Then the next guy comes in and is like, oh, you got to put ceramic on your windows. When they just got done getting told by us, ceramic, I'll sell it to you. It costs more. It makes me more money, but it's not going to solve your problem. It is just a very thrown around word in our industry that that commands a lot of authority for some reason. And it's because it does great on single panel glass on cars. Put that on a dual pane window. On the wrong dual pane window, you're going to have broken windows, or you're not going to have any heat rejection because the window's already doing it.
So like a ceramic dual reflective is what you're referring to, or just ceramic film in general?
Ceramic films in general. Dual reflective is pure metal. That's all. That's a metallized film through and through. That's why.
Because I've seen some companies selling ceramic dual reflective.
I would love to know what
That's
that
just
is.
marketing nonsense.
Oh, so it's just a regular dual, like.
Well, it
Dual
might
ref-
be, but I don't know why you would do
I
that.
know why you
like
do
the
that.
whole point of being ceramic is being less reflective.
Yeah. Why
and
would you
still
want
having heat
reflection?
rejection.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. Unfortunately, I've seen people now start trying to sell house films on, oh, it gets 80%, 86% infrared heat rejection. It's like, why in the hell are you even mentioning that? Like, if it's a blowy window, like, it's pointless. It's like, why mention it? Because it's the catchy word that gets people to buy
So it
car
sounds
films.
good.
So I
'cause
know
it's a
that you
high
say
number.
like on a lot of low E windows you go exterior, right?
Oh, it just depends.
On what they're looking
Yeah.
for, but mostly for heat.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So is there, I mean, sounds like it's pretty safe, like going exterior. Like, is there windows that you just cannot
Go exterior.
Look at the film, the glass chart. There are exterior films that are going to be dangerous. They have high absorption.
Few and far between. It depends on the exterior film. If you have a reflecting exterior film, it's very rarely you're going to hit a window that you can't put an exterior on. If there's a coating on surface one, which we've never ran across coatings on surface one.
I just seen somebody on the flat glass page.
Yeah, but Mark
you see that?
Umbrock jumped in on that, and
The glass was installed backwards.
no, he's like, he asked him, is there tin on there? And also, is that just tinted glass to begin with? Because if it is tinted glass, if you're not putting the meter in the right settings, it might register as a surface one coating. The reflectivity's throwing the laser off. So Mark jumped in on that one. I saw him. As soon as he jumped in, I was like, and I'm going to keep scrolling. Because he'll answer everything. I don't need to say anything. But no, man. Enjoyed sitting down again. Again, I'm going to say the same thing that we said to Chris. The growth from when you guys first sat down to where you're at now. Dude, just keep doing what you're doing. And like implementing your systems, I wouldn't change a thing. Just focus on whatever your biggest problem is. focus on that, try to get that fixed, move on to your next one. And then how you're empowering your people, you are effectively taking your hats off, which that is what we have finally done. And it took us years to do it. And I mean, Eric from Tint Wiz told us for like 3 years prior, like, you guys gotta stop tinting. And then we finally did it. And it's like,
so you guys barely stopped tinting
about 3 years ago.
So you were still tinting 3 years ago?
Yeah, not on a heavy capacity. I was probably a main installer for 2021, probably a little bit 22 is when it started kind of dying off. And then I started drawing back then, like taking a day out of my schedule a week because I needed a day to actually do things that like the team wanted me to do.
Yeah, I was full-time flat glass installing up until about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I like installing. It's fun.
Yeah. I actually started enjoying it recently. Like when I first would go on the jobs, I'm obviously nervous because like I wasn't that good. And I was just always like when it came to like cutting, I was always shaky. But now I feel like a lot more comfortable when it comes to throwing down film. And even at the competition in Atlanta, that was the first time I competed alone. The other tinner battles, I mean, it was so fast and it was just like I really only cleaned and prepped.
And start and go, what? We're done?
Yeah. So I mean, I actually thought I did pretty good in Georgia.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had too much. I don't know if I had too much slip or I squeezed the film too hard, but
from what I saw, slip, which that's going to mean.
Because I added a lot because I knew I had to slide it under that bar. So I was like.
That's the only downfall. You always got to pay attention before you cut.
Yeah.
Live and learn, keep competing. Competitions are fun. Different from actual installs, but you will learn a lot from the installers there. Seeing them do a bunch of crazy things to where it's like, I probably won't do that all the time, but I'm going to try that because I think I can tweak that in a way that's going to help improve my installation in real life.
Yeah. So, no, I take a lot of like very careful movements when it comes to like installing windows now that I'm like, why am I doing that when I only need to do this first and then that? Like you were saying, just lock your top down, go straight down the middle and start making your cuts. On a bigger window when it's really hot outside, I'll try to like squeegee a lot of it out.
Gotta get that tack stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the tack stop. I've seen that stuff's pretty crazy. You know, it's crazy that actually we were talking to him at the coffee shop in Houston, and he was talking about before he even dropped it. He was talking about he was working on it. Yeah. And I'm actually kind of happy to see that. Yeah, it actually works the way it should.
I have the sample bottle still got to use it, but I've seen everyone's testimony, people I trust. So I'm like, well, I know it works. Like otherwise, these people wouldn't be saying it. So
the other, I think, cool solution for that issue would be use a lot of slip, but then just use importance sauce for your top edge or something, because that's going to lock it down.
It does, but it doesn't. In the sense of like if you cover the glue with a bunch of slip, you gotta give it a little extra oomph. I've done that. It does help tremendously. It does. But I think that's a good spot to go ahead and wrap it up. And we'll definitely obviously I have no doubt in my mind we'll have you guys back on again. Have you back on to see where your growth is from, especially
plan on being very, very far into flat and just growing the business in general. I mean, I got blueprint here and just a lot of people in the industry now that I've met that I kind of look up to. And, I obviously have a lot of what you guys didn't have 20 years ago or whatever the case is.
But you're smart enough to take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still that is the one thing people don't do. And they still bitch and complain. It's like you have so much in front of you right now that you can take advantage of. Just do it. Implement it. It's going to take time. So
yeah.
Where can they find you again?
At Dante's Custom Detail and Tint and Worldwide Tint Co. That's the clothing brand. So check that out. We also carry tint busters, important saws, magic pouches, and probably more stuff soon. But yeah.
All right. Thanks for following along, guys. Until next time.
Thank you.